Good afternoon, Workato community, and welcome back to Las Vegas, Nevada. We're here at World of Workato, coming to the end of day one of our 2 days of coverage live on theCUBE. My name's Savannah Peterson, bringing you all the fun and excitement with Strechay. We are crushing it today. The guests are crushing it. This has been great.
It's great.
Really excited to have yet another Workato partner on the show. We have Cameron from Dispatch this afternoon. Cameron, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much. I'm so happy to be here.
We're really excited to be here. We're very excited to be your neighbors. Your booth is right behind us. It is pumping. You can see lots of people coming to interact with your products. Oh my goodness, I think you're giving away the glasses that I'm wearing right now. I just saw your ad.
I just realized that.
I am wearing the Meta Ray-Ban. I promise I didn't steal them from your booth. I promise I did not steal them from your booth. I was just trying to give the audience a little bit of a behind the scenes. Speaking of behind the scenes, in case folks aren't familiar with Dispatch,
Yes.
what do y'all do? Because I know you're a real trusted partner of Workato.
Well, that's a great question. So we are a boutique professional services company that focuses on workflow automation. So essentially what we do is work with our clients to bring their aspirations to life using Workato.
Well, that's awesome. I can imagine you're in demand now with workflows being almost as hot of a word as agentic AI or genies.
Yes. Yes. So, we think of this as like a Maslow's hierarchy of needs. There's integrations at the base, and you can't get work done if you can't just move data between systems. So sometimes we have to start with just integrations, and then you can build workflow automations on top of that and begin to orchestrate people interacting with data and interacting with systems in an automated way and moving work to where people live, as opposed to telling people to go into this system and this system and this system. So that's kind of the next level. And now we're at this next phase where we're starting to orchestrate people and agents and systems and data to do some really remarkable things. And so that's really what this show is over these 2 days, is for everybody to kind of get their arms around what the heck does this all mean and how do we get value from this?
It would seem that this is super important because a lot of people, they know, and they have multiple screens up and they're, body shifting or swiveling in their chair to kind of deal with those workflows. Do you see a lot of that where people are saying, hey, we not only want to, take our process and make it an agent, but we want to simplify it and simplify the number of screens that where the data comes from?
Yes, I mean, we have a business process orientation as opposed to a technology orientation, which means we have to really understand how is work done, who does what, and what systems do they have to do that work, and what data do they need to do that work. And you often see even in very kind of modern, like tech-forward organizations, people are swivel-chairing all the time. And we break that down into understanding, well, why is that? Where is the gap in the process? Where are the things that we can optimize or eliminate steps and so on? And we have to start there, because you don't want to swivel chair agents. You have to fix the process first, and then the agents can fit in this streamlined overall workflow.
I think that approach, and this has obviously been a theme of the day. We heard it on the keynote. We're talking about it right now. This integration and true synergy between business and technology, and looking at business processes. What I like about this, and I'm curious to get your perspective, it involves more members across the team, correct, than traditional IT teams. And you get to solve not just for the developer experience, but for the everyone experience. I mean, sitting here as someone who's swiveling in their chair all day today on the broadcast, I'm like, well, this is very efficient. So what's your advice to potential customers of yours and Workato's who are really trying to evaluate the lay of the land right now? They've got a lot of data, they've got some systems they're trying to integrate, but they don't really know where to get started. What would you tell them?
You have to start with understanding the problem. And we think about that from a business problem point of view. And, anybody who works in IT knows there's often a big gap. IT knows the art of the possible, but they don't know the problem. The business knows the problem, but they don't know the art of the possible. So they just live with that problem. And the languages are different in terms of how business and IT often speak. So you might have the perfect solution to the problem already existing in your organization, but you don't know how to get it to work. So we start with fundamentally understanding that business problem, making sure it can be kind of translated into terms that IT can understand, and making sure that the solutions, like what is a recipe, what is a genie, what is an agent, is understandable by the business. And really a lot of this is just as simple as bringing both kind of mindsets together to really work the problem. And then the actual solution can become pretty trivial, and particularly with solutions like Workato, the technical ability to solve that problem is actually not the hard part. It's understanding the problem first, where the work is.
Absolutely. I think we say that all the time, that the tech is actually the easy part. You can get people to code, you can get people to do that,
Yeah.
but it is understanding how that process, business process works, because it's different between company A, company B, in even the same vertical in a lot of instances because of how those companies have grown up. But how do you bring that together and help them get more efficient? How has the partnership with Workato worked, and how does that really, you guys engage together to solve those problems for customers?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the choice of Workato was extremely fortunate for us because, first of all, their values very much align with us, right? They really are about, solving problems on a day-to-day basis and not, spending 2 years before you get to go live with something. And our typical project length is 6 weeks, often less.
Wow.
Right? We can get to value quickly.
Wow, that's quick.
It's super quick. And that's
Impressive.
That's right from basically saying, do we even have a problem, to getting a solution in place. And so
amazing.
What that does is it allows us to now iterate. So you can get to the value, in 6 weeks or less, and then say, well, we've learned a bunch of stuff. Let's do that again. Let's iterate and iterate and iterate. And along the way, what that creates is this cycle of learning and a culture of innovation, as opposed to what, companies may start with, which is problems are hard, projects are long, it's exhausting, we can only do a couple of year, and so you don't innovate. And what Workato really gets our clients to think about is break out of that mold and break into a mold where you can truly be an innovator. Even if you are in an old traditional industry, you can be extremely innovative when you use tools like Workato.
I love that. So Workato it really does enable your customers and community to be their best selves at work and to do their best work.
Yeah, there's nothing more satisfying than to get some successes. And, we start with what we call the victory statements, right? And that's one of the very first things that we get both IT and the business in the room together to say, when are we going to high five? What is the criteria to high five? And that alignment right off the bat gets us to that exciting moment 6 weeks later where we are high-fiving, and then we get into, rinse and repeat. Let's do it again. And through that whole process, people learn about new opportunities, new things we can do. And, a lot of what, people talk about with Workato is the ability to improve productivity or efficiency. We find it also improves creativity, because when you can solve problems in 6 weeks, things that seem daunting that you wouldn't even think about creative solutions for seem actually achievable. And we see ideas that people start throwing up that we go, wow, that's incredible. That's truly a game changer. And that wouldn't have been possible with, any kind of solution that takes longer or is more difficult to get live.
I think that makes such a big difference when I know Rob and I love this. We all probably love this. We're all nerds in an industry that's really blossoming right now. You get to see people's light bulb moment, right? Or even rocket ship moment in that moment when you realize how many things are just possible. You've been working with Workato for a long time. I was just looking over my shoulder here. 7 years in a row that you've been a platinum partner. How have you two been able to collaborate and grow and evolve together?
Well, again, I think it starts with the fact that our cultures are really aligned. And, the folks in the business development side of Workato really very much are about business problem solving, which of course is what we do for a living. And so that already gets us off in a great foot, where they will often call us up and say, hey, we've engaged with a prospect and they've got this problem and we're not actually sure if Workato's the right solution or not. And we don't want to sell a solution that's going to fail. So could you help us figure out with the prospect what the right answer will be? And if it's Workato, it's great. If it's not, it's better for us to know now than to choose the wrong path. And that's really a rare experience in that sales journey, and it's an exciting experience for customers and prospects to feel like they're going through a solutioning exercise right from the beginning, and it gives us a chance to play as a collaborator in that journey right from day one, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think to me that's one of the keys, because like you said, that high five moment, they're talking about KPIs and knowing, we always talk about what's the ROI of AI, or the ROAI,
yes.
Return on your AI. And when you start to look at this, because you guys engage in various, Workato's very horizontal. Have you seen certain industries or certain verticals that really have embraced this and come, said, hey, we're jumping in, or has it really been horizontal, very similar to the Workato platform?
I don't think there's a customer or client in an industry that is not becoming obsessed with AI. Everybody is thinking about it. Everybody's thinking about how to apply it in their context. What the solutions are that emerge obviously are very different depending on the industry, and there's a lot of learning that we are all going through about what can AI do and what should AI not do, at least not today. Like, what are situations where you don't want a hallucination. You need exact right data. So for instance, maybe payroll, not ready for AI today, but there's a lot of other things that AI is perfect for in, performance management and learning and development and finance workflows and all that type of stuff. So that's part of the exciting journey, is to figure out where is AI going to add value, where are the other things that Workato bring to bear, actually, like in terms of automation and integrations, where the value is delivered. And so it's an and equation. It's not an or equation. It's how do we bring all of these things together to deliver value?
We were talking about that earlier today.
Yes.
That is certainly a theme of the show, which is very exciting. Speaking of the show, this is probably a pretty important show for you and your year. What are your takeaways from WOW? What did you learn today, or what got you most excited?
Well, it has been, first of all, amazingly busy, and it's so exciting to see Workato attract so much attention, right? And we've been with Workato for a long time, and we've always said that Workato is a little bit of a gravity well that attracts really smart people that really want to do very ambitious things. And just that's actually the biggest thing here, is how many people we get to meet that are trying to tackle the world with tools in their toolbox that includes Workato, and that's amazing. It's fantastic. There's so much passion, and what you hear on stage from Chandar and Vijay and so on, it's being embraced by everybody here. And then they're engaging with us and other partners about how do we bring this to life? What's the first step we should take? How do we get started? That's so amazing.
It is so amazing. And, one of the things that I love about it is how much people are at the front and center of this. I love that the conversations on stage today were that no one's going to lose their job at Workato because of AI. In fact, it's just going to get cooler. And to your point, people are going to get more creative, which is so exciting. So it's great to hear that you all at Dispatch have the same culture fit and priority. I can tell just from sitting here and talking to you. I've got one final question for you. Since we're moving so fast right now, lots is going to change between now and WOW 2026.
Yes.
What do you hope to be able to say when the three of us are hanging out on this stage this time next year that you can't yet say today?
I think the biggest thing that we are starting to see with our clients is, and I think Chandar mentioned it as well, is AI is at the edges and not yet at the core. And we're starting to see movement. We're starting to see companies say, we're learning. Sometimes what we say is fail in private, succeed in public. And one of the best ways to do that is let's learn with AI in business processes where failure is not fatal. And as we learn and we understand the capabilities of the tool and the capabilities of Workato, we start building competencies, and our clients start building competencies together, give us the confidence to, let's tackle more meaningful workflows that are at the core. And we have projects that are like in flight right now that are core projects that are reinventing really important business processes. Often it's actually not to reduce cost, to your point about people losing their jobs. It's about delivering business value and doing things that you cannot do. You just can't do with the ways you typically do it. That's actually the really exciting thing, is this is a way to build a business up. It's not a way to find, how to cut jobs. And our clients are looking at it from that lens, not from the negative lens. They're looking at it from the positive lens. How do we get competitive advantage? How do we deliver value propositions that we haven't been able to do before? And that's what I want to talk about next year, is these success stories.
I really love that you sewed that up so well with a perfect little bow there. When we think about delivering business values, you shouldn't be worried about AI taking your job. You should be thinking about how AI can get you a promotion.
Yes.
And make the company more money.
Yes.
Cameron, this has been absolutely fantastic. I knew you were going to be lovely. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Anytime. We look forward to learning more next year as well. And thank you, Rob, as always. And thank all of you for tuning in to our 2 days of live coverage here in Las Vegas, Nevada. We're at World of Workato. My name's Savannah Peterson. You're watching theCUBE, the leading source for enterprise tech news.